Welcome to Living High, Wild, and Free. My name is Tyler Bryan. I'm a wildlife biologist and your host. In this episode, we are mule deer hunting in southern Saskatchewan. As a naturalist, hunting for me is a way to get to know the land and the critters that inhabit it. I've daydreamed of hunting this area because of how rare and unique it is. Most of the prairie has been turned into agricultural cropland, but because this area has steep topography, it has been left untouched. Wild grassland that has minimal impact from humans is incredibly rare, and for me makes this hunt so special. Join me while we live high, wild, and free in some of the last native grassland on Earth. Alright, we are in southern Saskatchewan. I came down late last night, set up camp right here. Just kind of pulled off the road, a little trail that's winding through this pasture area. And just set up camp. It was late, it was getting dark. I really didn't have a destination in mind, so I just kind of set up camp real quick. This is my canvas tent, just a teepee style canvas tent here. You can see just one single pole that holds it all up, and then you stake it out in the corners, and you can stake out all the sides and all kinds of different little options you can do, but it all kind of packs down right into that little bag there. It's really slick. So tomorrow is rifle opener for antlerless mule deer, and I have 2 tags for antlerless mule deer in this area. And so today is just really going to be scouting, checking out the area. I've been in this area, but not really much at all, just kind of driving through. So there's lots to check out. It's just it's an unbelievable area, and so that's what we're going to do today, just explore, find different areas. What I'm really looking for is water. We're in a drought here in Saskatchewan, and it is dry, really dry. So I think water is where the wildlife's going to be. I think that's kind of the limiting factor this year. That's just kind of my guess. I don't really know, so that's what I want to do today, is find some good sources of water, and I think that's where a lot of wildlife's going to be. So yeah, I'm just going to get that packed up, which takes like 2 seconds. Get all that junk and stuff over there into the truck and just head down the trail. I think there's a river, at least from the Google Maps, the satellite imagery. I think there's a creek or something going on over there. There's a lot of greenery and some dark spots where I think that might be water. So that's what we're gonna do, is just start heading west here. Yeah, just explore, walk around, do some upland bird hunting, just kind of explore this area. It's super neat. It's very ecologically unique because it's some of the last remaining native prairie in the whole North America. So it's super cool stuff. So stay tuned, it's gonna be awesome. Alright, found a nice little pull off alongside the goat trail there. Remy's pumped. Oh yeah, do some hiking and see what I find. What I'm finding right now, just driving around and stuff like that, is the grass has been really grazed heavy this year. They allow cattle for the summer to come in. So ranchers come in with their cattle and they graze, and which actually helps out the ecosystem, because grasslands need to be grazed or burned, well actually both, on a regular basis so that they don't overgrow with shrubby material like that. So the cattle being in here is a good thing, except they do tend to overgraze the grass, unlike say like bison that can roam wild and kind of move from spot to spot. They tend to, you know, graze very heavily because they're, you know, enclosed in this area kind of thing. So that's what I'm finding, which isn't very good for other wildlife, because the cattle are essentially taking away the food source. So I'm hoping to find some water, and I'm really hoping to find some areas that maybe didn't get grazed as heavily. So that's what we're doing, just hiking along. Hopefully trying to keep the camera out of the wind. It is a little windy out. Imagine that, no trees. But yeah, we're just gonna keep hiking and see what we find. Of course, as soon as I turn the camera on, Remy just lets go of a real nice, well marinated fart. Oh. Well, anyways, I got the tent set back up in a different spot, kind of down in the basin of one of these coulees. It should be really out of the wind. I think this is going to be base camp, maybe, possibly. I'll kind of decide that tomorrow, depending on what happens. Yeah, I really didn't check in a lot today, because it was kind of all of the same, of like me driving around doing some walking, and the sad part was it was just way too windy for me to really give any kind of narrative of like what I was doing. So you didn't really miss out on much. There was some cool encounters with like mule deer. I did try sharp-tailed grouse hunting too, but they were just way smarter than me, and I could also just was not shooting very well today. I don't know, it was just one of those days. Remy did really good though. He was flushing them really well and sticking around close to me, so he was doing a great job, and I was just not doing my job very well. So yeah, that's about it. I think I have a good idea about where the mule deer are. So I spent a lot of time either like way down in these valleys, like right next to the Frenchman River, or like up on top of these like peaks and stuff like that. And I had no real mule deer encounters around that area. Wherever I would go to where there was like a group of trees or shrubs in these like coulee areas, like out of the wind, that's where I'd always have mule deer encounters. So I think that's a pretty safe bet to kind of stick around in these coulees. It'll make packing out the mule deer, if I have the opportunity to harvest one, a little bit more tricky, just because there's no road access at all. Like there's no way I'm getting a truck down into there, and it's, you know, might be kind of a hike. So that will also be in a factor when I'm thinking about if I have the opportunity to harvest one. I will also have to be thinking about like, is it gonna be possible for me to get it out without like just taking all day to get it out. I think I could get one mule deer in my pack and kind of pack it out, so it might not be too bad. Anyways, tomorrow is the opener. I'm feeling pretty confident about it. Just today, just like driving around, just kind of minding my own business, I had about 3 different opportunities that I could have, harvested a mule deer doe. I actually had a couple opportunities at bucks as well, which was really surprising. Like, the bucks are in peak rut right now. Their necks are just gorged, and it seems like they're acting pretty stupid, which is kind of common. Like, guys just tend to get a little stupid when you put a bunch of testosterone in them. Yeah, so a couple opportunities at bucks. I mean, I won't be able to harvest any, but it's just kind of fun to think about anyways. So I thought I'd show my setup. So there's always a lot of like questions that I'm asked around, what kind of firearm am I using? Why do I use that firearm, and so on and so forth. I have been muzzleload hunting for like around 10 years now. And I really enjoy it. I actually bought a rifle way back when, and I sold it because I just didn't like rifle hunting. It's just not my thing. It's not challenging enough. And also rifle season tends to be the most popular, so there's a lot more competition, which is also isn't my thing. So I switched over to muzzleload hunting, and I really enjoy it. With these new modern muzzleloaders, you can get out to, long distances. Like this, I feel comfortable shooting it out to 200 yards, which is pretty crazy for a muzzleloader. Like, even my first muzzleloader that I started out with, 100 yards was about the max, and now with this I've shot it quite a bit, and at 200 yards I can shoot about 3 to 4 inch group, which is plenty accurate. I mean, you're shooting a 50 caliber bullet out of this, and when it hits the target, it's devastating. So it doesn't have to be, just dead on, like highly accurate like a rifle does, because it's moving so fast and it's such a kind of small trajectory in comparison. It just passes right through, where this is much more of a blunt force, and it causes lots of trauma. So anyways, I just picked this gun up this year because my old muzzleloader was not so good anymore. It was getting pretty rusty, and I didn't really trust it anymore, so I decided to invest in this new CVA Accura PR. I can't remember what the PR stands for, maybe Papa Roach, but it's a 28 inch barrel. They have a lot of really neat features with it, and that they also guarantee the accuracy on the gun is kind of what really sealed the deal for me. I did do a lot of research on different guns and different price points. I always like to go for a bargain. I don't like to just buy the most expensive just because. I don't mind putting money into something that's quality, but only if that quality is, that extra money is justified by the quality kind of thing. And I really think that this gun was a balanced purchase, that it was a bit more expensive. It is on the higher end for the muzzle loading spectrum, but it's been a solid gun so far. This is actually going to be its first hunting trip, but I've shot it a lot at the range, like more than I've really ever shot in other muzzleloaders, and it performed really well. I was really happy with the accuracy. I'm not a sponsor by any means, so this is really just my opinion on the gun. Yeah, that's the gun, and then this is just a simple 4 to 12 Vortex Diamondback scope. Again, price point, I'm not going to be shooting beyond 200 yards. That's it. That's the maximum. Quality of glass, to me anyways, doesn't matter that much at that kind of range. I don't want to be able to see every individual fiber of the deer's hide or something like that. Like, that doesn't really matter to me, and that's why, a $200 to $300 scope it is very reasonable for me. Like, I don't really need to go beyond that. And I also am really hard on my equipment, so the likelihood of this scope lasting for a long time is not likely. I hope so. I mean, I did again do my research on it, and it seems like these scopes are durable. So hopefully that's the case, but if it doesn't, it's not a big deal. I'll just go buy another one, kind of thing, because that's kind of what I expect, rather than buying a $1,000, $2,000 scope. I would be a little upset about that. So that's a setup. It's very simple, but I'm really excited to try it out. Of course, at the range, it's not quite the same. Like, it's very controlled there. So I'm really excited to get it out into the field and kind of see how it performs. So the other side about muzzle loading is that there's a ton of different options when it comes to ammunition, because you're able to separate the sabot, which is like the bullet, to be more simplistic about it, and then you have your powder, so your black powder, the thing that's making the boom, and then you have the primer, which starts the boom. And so you have these three different components that you can intermix and change. And so I find with a lot of muzzleloading guys that they take this really seriously. I don't. I kind of did a little bit of research and was like, this seems kind of good, but I don't really know. But I didn't really put a lot of time into it, because I kind of figured, like, the modern technology is so good that, I don't know, maybe that's a naive approach, but I've just been shooting these for 6-7 years now, like the same setup, and it's performed very well. I haven't had any bad, actually I only had one, and that was out of my muzzleloader last year. So if you watch my whitetail deer hunting video, I had one fouled shot, and that's the first time that's ever happened. I don't know if it was the gun, it might have been the powder. I think it was some sort of user error, to be honest with you. I don't really blame the setup at all, because every other time it's always been good. So anyways, I've got some 777 50/50s. So each little tablet is 50 grams of powder. So I just shoot 100 grams. So I just put 2 of these in. For the sabots, I have these SST Hornadays. Yeah, I like these. Like, I've been able to recover some of the rounds after they've been shot through a deer, and they mushroom out really well, and cause a lot of damage in the inside, and I think that they have resulted in some very clean kills. So, and then primers, honestly, I just kind of go with whatever's around, as long as it's works for the powder that I have. So I just went with some Winchester 777s. So loading one of these modern muzzle loaders is actually really simple. They just come in these little pellets like this, and there's 2 separate pellets there, and both of those are 50 grams a piece of black powder. And you just simply plop it down the chute. You take one of these sabots here. Focus. Focus. Come on, there we go. Yeah, just like that. Plop it in like that. And there's this handy dandy starter rod thingy, McJigger thing, and then you just work it down like that. Then we take the actual rod itself and oh yeah, there we go, just like that. And tomorrow I will put a primer in the back, just like that. Goes right in there, and that's it. It's ready to rock at that point. So now that that's loaded, these little tube things are actually just to hold an extra round, so that I can carry one more shot with me. So I actually load these backwards. So instead of putting the powder in first like I did with the muzzleloader, I put the sabot in upside down. Powder. Then I throw a primer on top, so that all I have to do is grab the primer, flip this over the barrel. The powder and the sabot will come out and fall into the barrel, push it down, and then I'm ready to go. And that's about it. It's a super simple setup. Modern muzzleloaders have come a long ways in the last 20 years even. It's quite incredible, the technology that's been developed in the powder, the sabots, the primers, the guns themselves, the barrels, everything around them. It's incredible. So it's very simple now. It's definitely was more challenging even just 10 years ago. But it's nice to, even though it's more simplistic, it's nice to have a more effective kills. Like there's less guessing, at least for me anyways. Less guessing of where the sabot's going to end up. They're just much more accurate, and they're just easier, which does make them more pleasant to deal with. Get packed up for the morning, and basically from camp, I'm just going to walk south down this coulee, and then there's some like interconnections of different coulees, and that's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to walk around the coulees, take it slow, and just hope for the best. And that's it. Yeah, the kind of nice thing about later in the year is you really don't have to wake up early, so I'm kind of looking forward to not waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning. It'll be more like a 6 o'clock start tomorrow, so that'll be really welcomed after waking up super early after waterfall hunting this year. There's all kinds of commotion in the trees over there, and so I just kind of froze, and I knew it was something big. It was a loud noise, so I knew more than likely it was a deer, but I really didn't know what was going on. I'm pretty sure it busted me, so it seen me, got frightened, and then it must have just stayed still because I could not see it in the trees over there. So I'm looking, I'm trying to see what's going on. I figure I might as well get to some cover because whatever it was didn't run out of the trees, so it's somewhere in there. And so I'm just kind of setting up behind these bushes in the hopes that maybe I'll be able to get a shot and just to see what's going on. Some motion catches my eye, and all of a sudden, this guy steps out. And you can see that the buck knows exactly where I'm at. He is looking right at me. At this point, he got about 20 yards away from me, and he got a real good look at me, and now he's a little freaked out, but still, once again, it's just curiosity stops him, and he looks back at me. What an amazing encounter. So I thought that was once in a lifetime. I honestly never ever had that happen where a buck has busted me and then walks right up to me, just out of pure curiosity. I'm not sure. I'm sure that the buck knew what I was, but its testosterone just overruled it, and it needed to know for sure. So it just walked right up to me. But then a little ways down this coulee, I had it happen again. Now, granted, this is a much younger buck. I would expect that kind of behavior from a buck of this age. I'm guessing this is about a 1.5-year-old deer. However, it's still just amazing. I mean, keep in mind, I have zero cover. I'm literally just sitting out in the open next to some shrubbery, and I'm just kneeling down and staying still, but I'm not covering myself up at all. I, still have a lot of my human features. Like, I'm not laying down or anything like that. Like, I'm not really breaking up my silhouette at all. And just the sheer curiosity of these bucks is just, it really was amazing. I've never experienced this, and I can only say that it's from a lack of hunting pressure that, that these deer don't run into humans a lot, and when they do, it's not in a threatening manner.
All right, buddy, come in. What's this? What's this? Oh my gosh! Wow! Whoa! Oh, you don't want to share? Oh, you don't want to share?
All right, we are back at camp. I had to jump into the tent here because it is a little windy out, and all you would have heard is yeah, it went really. Oh wow! Found Remy a shed while I was out hunting. Actually, I found a couple of them, but that one was close enough that I felt like carrying it back. So anyways, recap what happened this morning. Lots of opportunities. Unfortunately, they were all with bucks. The coulee that I was in was just infested with bucks, and bucks and rut are really, really annoying when you're a doe. They're always just chasing does, pushing them around. So I'm guessing that's what happened, is that this, there's probably does in this coulee maybe last night, last evening, something, whatever. And these bucks just moved in and pushed all the does out. So I have some contemplating to do here while I'm just kind of hanging out, eating some lunch, and getting ready for this afternoon to go back out hunting. That I don't know if I should go back to that same area, because I know that there's lots of deer there. I mean, there was tons and tons of bucks in that area, but are there going to be does? Maybe there's not going to be any deer because I pushed all the deer out of there. I don't know. There is other areas that I could hunt, and it's just something I can contemplate about. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to eat some lunch, hang out for a little bit, hang out with Remy, throw the ball for him a little bit, and get him some exercise, because he's just going to be just hanging out today, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. I can't bring him out deer hunting with me. So look at this goofball. Anyways, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna hang out, contemplate, and we'll touch base this afternoon and see what I come up with. I still don't know. So I spotted a group of does on this ridgeline over here, and I wanted to try to intersect them as I traveled down this ridgeline. They drop behind one of the peaks, and so I decided to quickly move over to this hill over here and try to set up to, harvest one of them. However, it was unsuccessful, and this just kind of kept happening. For whatever reason, the does just seemed to kind of outsmart me. I'd get within about 300 yards, and that was about as close as I could get. They just seemed to be really on edge, very wary, and I really think it had to do with all the pressure that the bucks were putting on them, that they were being chased around, harassed, and that just made for really tough hunting. So I decided to change up my tactics and hunt in areas where there's actually more hunting pressure in the pasture area, because I thought that there'd be less bucks there, and sure enough, there was more does in those areas, and they were way less wary. And so this is actually where I got my first opportunity a couple of days later. Really grateful that she gave me that opportunity. I'm really hoping that it was a solid shot. It felt solid. It looked solid the way that she was running. I'm going to give her just a little bit of time. I'll reload my gun, and then I'll kind of work my way up there, and we'll just see what we find. So I got my speed loading stick right here. Just pop out that primer. Alright, well, after tracking that doe for a long time, I did not find any blood anywhere around that area where I had shot her, which isn't super uncommon with muzzle loaders. I rarely have an exit wound, and I find that the exit wound is actually what bleeds the most. So I just was looking all over the place in that area along the ridge line, and I couldn't find anything, and I didn't want to keep going on just because I didn't want to spook her out. But we had kind of a surprise rain shower come in, and it really made me want to, you know, push it and try to find some blood. And I did. I found some blood up on that ridge up there, and that's actually what led me over to this area where I saw her up on the ridge. Just a beautiful doe. I'm surprised how far she went, so it looks like a really good shot there. Just a gorgeous doe though. I actually, something that's been kind of blowing my mind about this area is just the size difference between the bucks and the does. The buck that she was with was probably probably about a 1.5-year-old. You know, just a small fork, really. And he was about twice the size of this doe. And this is a good sized doe. I'm really surprised at how big she actually is. And pleasantly surprised. Well, not when I'm dragging her out. That's not going to be very fun because I have a good long drag out. I have to bring her up that ridge there, and my truck's kind of over yonder. I'm gonna get her up on top of this ridge and go walk and get my truck, and then drive my truck as close as I possibly can to that point and drag her the rest of the way. Yeah, I don't know, I'm just honestly just ecstatic. You know, just this real high, low, after when I couldn't find any of her blood, and she wasn't up on this ridge or anything like that. The way that she was running and everything, it just kind of blew me away that she just the wind made her ears move, and I was like, oh crap, she's still alive. But no, she's not. Yeah, just the wind. Anyways, I'm just ecstatic, really, honestly. You know, trophies don't really necessarily mean antlers to me. I mean, especially for me, anyways. Trophies are, you know, full freezers, and this is going to be a lot of great meat. So hopefully, you know, CWD is a real concern in this area, especially with mule deers. They seem to be more susceptible to CWDs. But for now, I'm just going to treat it as if she doesn't have CWD or anything like that. I'm just going to treat her as a regular doe, and yeah, get to work here. Gonna do the not so fun stuff, like you know, clean her outer insides, and then I don't know, I'll check in here and there, see how it goes. I know I'm gonna be struggling up that that hill with her. Luckily it's not that steep, you know, it is kind of a nice incline, and it goes right back to where my truck is, so I can't complain too much. Honestly, it could be a lot worse. This is actually my first mule deer. I grew up in Minnesota, actually, and there's no mule deer in the state, and so this is actually my first opportunity at mule deer. And there's some really interesting key differences. Obviously the ears are just massive. They look big in a distance, but up close, like, it's unbelievable how big their ears are, and that's actually where they get their name from, because they kind of look like a mule, like a donkey, because they got the big old ears. This actual port right here is interesting. I've never, maybe it's on whitetail. It's something that when I get some connection to the internet, I want to take a little look at, because I think those are scent glands. That'd be my guess, but I don't know. And it's on both sides. It doesn't actually look like a wound or anything. This is the preorbital gland, which is found on many hooved species all over the earth. On average, mule deer preorbital glands are twice the size of whitetails. Glands are a way for deer to communicate non-verbally, such as setting dominance, marking territory, or signaling stress. It is unknown the exact function of the preorbital gland. It has been documented that the gland dilates on male deer during rut and while females are caring for their young. Now you know, so back to the show. So that's something I want to take a look at, and everything else is about the same. They have these interesting colorations, like the fur is just beautiful. But yeah, I really wish that I had the space to tan hides, because I would love to keep this fur. It is just gorgeous, and I'm sure it's just super warm after you get down into, it's so dense. It's amazing that it's been raining for a little bit now, like I'd say an hour or so, and the outside is wet, it's damp, but then the inside is nice and dry. Just really incredible. Well, the doe and I are almost at the top. It only took 100 breaks to get to this point. Probably take 50 more, because I'm a little winded. But the view is just unbelievable. All right, break's over. Oh. Whew. All right, we are up top, and I am walking to go get the truck. I think I can drive pretty much all the way right to that ridge line, which would be awesome. My truck should be right behind this hill, basically. Just, oh, still winded from hauling the deer up the hill, but yeah, it should basically be right up over yonder, not too far away. And I think there's like a, yeah, there it is. There's a goat trail kind of running all the way right to there, but that ridge is just kind of right back by that big peak there. the doe's sitting on this side of that ridge. So I know I can at least get, I don't know, halfway to that doe right there, but I think I can drive just all the way there, all the way to that ridge line. At least for my walk, it didn't seem like it was anything that was too difficult. That's kind of a nice thing about hunting the grassland, is that there's no real trees or anything to get in your way except for the coulees and the cliffs, and that's the only thing that'll just shut her down. But yeah, so I'm just gonna hike over, get the truck, and Remy's waiting for me there. So I got some good news, some good sniffs for him. I'm sure he's gonna appreciate that, because I've been coming back empty-handed. Well, not really. I have been bringing back lots of antlers for him, which he's been super pumped about. But I know he's gonna be even more pumped to get some deer sniffs in. So yeah, the saga continues. I don't know how many times I've come up on that little black truck after being out in the middle of nowhere and being real thankful that it's sitting there and that I didn't get lost, or it's just such a welcome sign that, you know, I made it back, and I don't know, it's just such a good sign to see. So it's good to see that truck sitting there, and yeah, I think I can drive right up to that deer. So I actually might be able to get back to camp before sundown here, which would be awesome, because I've got a lot of stuff to do at camp, like hang up that deer, clean up, get some stuff dry here, because of course it's been raining, just a little drizzle, but everything's kind of wet, and so I got stuff to do at camp. So I'm really glad that it all kind of worked out the way it did. Like it's been going really well so far, so I don't want to jinx it, but yeah, I'll grab the truck here and start heading for that deer. Well, buddy, you're not going to believe this, but get a sniff of that. Oh, the good stuff. Huh? Where is it? I know where to go. Oh, you gotta go pick it up, buddy. Well, thanks for your supervision. Yeah, thanks for your supervision. I appreciate it. All right, we are back at camp. I got the deer taken care of, and I'm starting to take care of the gear, get it dry, like especially like my gun and stuff like that, rain gear, you know, so on and so forth. I'm also making some food, and so a lot going on. But I checked the weather, and in 2 days, the weather's going to get really nasty. They're calling for like 50-mile-an-hour winds, snow. It's just not going to be good. So I decided that even though I have one tag to still fill, it's time to vamonos tomorrow. I am still gonna try to hunt. I'm gonna play it by ear though. So what I'm gonna do is just wake up before sunrise and start packing all my stuff up. Basically get it all into the truck, and so that no matter what, like, I'm gonna head out tomorrow, but I'm hoping that I can stick around and hunt and maybe possibly try to fill that last tag before the weather gets too nasty. So that's the hope. It's been raining pretty much all day today, and it's making the roads, like the little goat trails, kind of slippery. Like where there's grass, it's no big deal, but especially like on these slopes where there's not a lot of grass and it's mostly dirt, it's kind of making it pretty slick. So I'm also concerned about that. Like I'm basically like, you know, at the bottom of the coulee, and yeah, I got to go up and kind of go up a little bit further to get out of here. And tonight, no problem. Like I kind of took it real easy, worked my way down and make sure that there was lots of traction. Otherwise I would have just parked my truck way up at the top and probably just had to carry all my junk out of here. But I don't think that'll be the case. I think I'm pretty positive, like 80% positive, that I'll be able to get out of here tomorrow. But that's also weighing on my mind as well. So yeah, tomorrow's gonna be the last day, and that'll be 1 week. Tomorrow will make it 1 week out here, and it's just been an amazing experience. Like I have had some unbelievable sights and, you know, all that stuff. So I'm very, very well saturated in the Grassland wilderness, so that I feel satisfied now, especially after getting that doe tonight. That was a real weight off my chest for sure. I was really not looking forward to going back empty-handed. I really could use that meat. So I wanted to show you my setup. I'm sure there's some of you that might be kind of curious about how I set up this go around. So I have a tarp set up that's covering up the canvas, and so the canvas is actually water repellent, but it does soak, so like it will get wet. And with it being so tight in here, having wet canvas is just not very fun, because I'm always brushing up against it and all that stuff. So when it's raining, especially when it's raining, I like to part up a tarp. When it's snowing, it's kind of optional. Like the snow tends to just kind of fluff off and it's not that big of a deal. So we've got Remy all tucked in, and he's kind of shivering because he got wet while we're out searching for that deer. I know. Jeez, calm down. Don't yell. Let you go back to sleep. And so he's sitting right where the stove would be if we had a stove, like a wood stove. But since we're in the prairies, there's not really any trees, and it's a drought. Even though it's raining right now, but when I came down, it was super dry. So fire is just no go at all. So I have my propane stove, and I honestly don't recommend doing this. This is actually really dangerous because there's no like safety switch or anything like that. Well, this thing's running. Like if it's on, gas is going to come out, and it doesn't matter if it's being burnt or not. So this whole tank could fill up with propane. It is quite dangerous. So I don't run it at night. I shut everything off. And make sure that that there's no possibility for any kind of leak or anything like that, because it can be very dangerous. I actually have a friend that passed away because of something similar to this, so I take it very seriously. So I don't recommend doing this. It's just something that I'm doing for convenience and da 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 da. So don't do it, but that's what I'm doing anyways. And we got our dry pantry over here. I got all the good stuff like coffee and hot chocolate. I mean, what else does a guy really need? This is dinner for tonight. This is Italian sausage venison. It's 100% Italian venison sausage. And got all kinds of veggies. And of course, you got your noodles and all that stuff. It's real good. Got our garbage right here. And Remy has been working on cleaning up these dishes, but he needs to go, do a little bit better job over there. I know you're cold, but, maybe when you warm up, get back to it. And I got the knife all washed up. I really recommend this knife. It is been a really trusty, great knife. It holds a good edge for all that I really need to do with it. Like, whether it's like, cutting up apples to, gutting a deer, whatever, and everything in between. It's been a really solid knife. And the best part about it is it's only 20 bucks. I'll bring it along and barely take care of it. And it keeps a nice edge and all that stuff. So And then for my sleeping bag, I actually have my -40-degree bag. This is the one that I did that episode with, where I actually dropped down to -40, so I got to test it out. And it's a bit overkill. So, like, tonight it's going to be really mild, so I'm going to just, like, open it all up and keep it all open. So, I don't get too hot in the middle of the night, because if I zip this thing all up, it's going to be way too warm. Like, it's going to barely drop below freezing tonight, so this is like way overkill. But I'd rather have too much insulation than too little, because wow, does that make for some miserable nights. And then I just have a sleeping pad underneath that, and this one's actually insulated, and it's the same exact one that I used in the same episode, and I kind of went more into detail about that, because it is a nice pad. And then I'm just sitting on a cot here. And that's really it. It's a very simple setup with the tent. And it's cozy. Like, it's not a ton of room, but it's plenty of room for just one person. Like, plenty of room for just me and the dog kind of thing. Remy doesn't sleep in here, actually. He goes back into the truck. Just because it tends to stay a bit warmer in there, because it's all sealed up. Where on the floor, especially without any snow or anything like that, it's hard to kind of keep the seams, like the bottom of this tent, from, you know, wind getting in and stuff like that. So it's actually warmer in the truck, so I keep him in there. He seems to prefer that. Like, I did have him in here for one night, and he woke up and just gave me a real nasty look. Like, that was not fun. So we didn't do that again. Didn't do it again. I was gonna get some dinner, take care of the gear, clean up the gun, and get it all dry, and yeah, and just kind of hang out. So in the morning I'll be packing up, and then I'm gonna hunt for the remainder of the day. If the wind and the weather turns nasty, like if the forecast is wrong that it's supposed to be really nice tomorrow, then I'm just gonna skedaddle, and, you know, try to hunt here and there, but you know, really just get out of here, just because I don't want to get snowed in or anything like that. So that's the plan, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Good morning. It is bright and early o'clock. I got the tent all tore up. Everything's in the truck packed up. I was going to hunt this area this morning and head out from there, but it rained pretty much all late last night, and I'm a bit worried about getting out of here, because I gotta get up this hill, and this dirt here is a little slimy. Luckily it's a lot of sand, so I think I'm in good shape. And then there's another part up over yonder that I also need to get up, but it's similar in composition as here. And then the next challenge is going to be, there's a valley that's north of here that also is probably going to be really slimy, but there's not a lot of hills there, so it's just kind of, I'm a little iffy about it. I woke up pretty nervous when I heard, like, I woke up to the rain this morning. I was pretty nervous about the whole thing. I'm just being a worrywart, and it's not a big deal. Hopefully it's like, oh, I get on the other end of the pasture area, and I'm like, oh yeah, no big deal. And I'll probably, if that's the case, I'll probably end up hunting some areas that are, you know, that direction. And before I head out of here, I might just do that all day today. I don't really know. I guess it kind of depends on the weather and all that stuff. So how I'm feeling, and, you know, that kind of thing. So that's the plan. I'm probably not going to stick to it, because everything changes, you know, all the time, because, you know, I can't control nature and all that good stuff. So yeah, hopefully I can make it up the hill here, and then make it to the other end of the park, which is the exit area. All right, buddy, are you ready? Yeah, here goes nothing. Ease it down. Easy, easy. All right. Oh, like a dream, little Roo. Oh my gosh. All right, here comes the next hill that we have to conquer. She's looking a little bit rougher. Can't hit it too fast. Oh, oh, oh. Oh no. Go. 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 Yeah! We got it. Woo! All right, we got another hill up here, but this one isn't as bad. That was the, back there, that was the worst. So, oh man, I was worried about that, Remy. Oh, I was so worried that we were not going to be able to get up that hill. All right, Remy, you ready to head down into the valley? Pretty nervous about this one too. Hopefully it goes as easy as it was up those hills. Oh yeah. It is very easy, Remy. Oh! As long as it's solid underneath, that's all that really matters. And we don't have to go up to too many hills, which we don't, which is nice. But it's gonna get worse. As I was driving along, I spotted a doe up on this hill over here, and it was so rushed that I just got all my gear, got all it ready, and basically ran up to try to like intersect her. So that's what I'm doing right now, is I'm spotting and stalking her as I'm trying to cut her off in just over this hedgerow in front of me. And what I didn't know is there's actually a doe and a fawn in this hedgerow. And so the deer that I'm trying to stalk is much further away than this doe and two fawns are. But to get in position to cut off this doe that I'm stalking, this other doe with her two fawns actually surprised me. And so I totally missed getting it on camera. Like I stood up to kind of see where this other doe was at within this hedgerow and got caught off guard by this other doe. So I just rose my gun up and shot without capturing it on film. All right, you guys are gonna be mad about this one too. I thought I hit record and I didn't. I just shot a doe. She's on the other ridge right now. I'm watching her. And I know she's hit pretty hard. But I'm not sure if I should try to put another stock on her or not. I think I'm gonna try to here. Oh, she just went over the ridge. She's hurt really bad. I don't think she's got much longer to live, but just tearing me up watching her suffer like that, and having those does around her, just they know that something's wrong, and I gotta go try finishing her off. It's just too hard to watch. So I'm gonna go back, grab my stuff, and try to get up that ridge line up there, and hopefully they're just right over the top. I mean, best case scenario is that she passes by the time I get up there. It's just tearing me up watching her suffer like that. So I will go grab my stuff here and head up over there. So roughly after 20 to 30 minutes of looking for blood or some sort of sign of where she went, I couldn't find anything, and I kind of gave up hope that I was going to. So a last ditch effort, I just headed towards cover in the general area of where I last saw her, and I luckily came up across this little coulee, and as I did, I noticed that she was actually laying down in this trees here, and her back is towards me, and she's still alive, and she's alert enough that her head's up and she knows that I'm here, but she's so weak that she can't get up. So I'm sitting there staring at her as she's staring at me, contemplating how I can get to an angle where I can put another round into her, just to help her pass and end her suffering as quickly as possible. And so I'm sitting there staring and contemplating on what to do, and the scene kind of plays out where a doe and a young buck come up over this hill, and I'm kind of taken away from the doe for a second just to watch this scene play out. Oh, it's always so hard to watch him suffer like that. I must have made a mistake on my first shot, and she was really badly hurt, but not hurt enough to kill her quickly. And she's passed now, and I feel so bad, but relieved at the same time that she doesn't have to suffer anymore. I'm so grateful for the meat, but oh man, hunting can be really challenging, and not just physically, but emotionally as well. But I am so grateful for this opportunity. Oh man, just a ball of nerves. I wasn't sure how this was all going to go down. I could not find her blood at all. And basically I was just going in the direction that I last saw her and heading for cover, and that's literally how I found her. I'm so grateful that I did. It's starting to rain now, and I got a lot of work ahead of me. I got, I think, a pretty good drag. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get my truck back in here or not. I'm going to double check and see if there's any roads going back into this area, but it doesn't really look likely, so I think I got a pretty good drag ahead of me, but we'll see. I definitely got some work cleaning her and getting her at least up and out of this ravine here. Oh, but it is such a relief to have that over with. Oh man, I was feeling so bad. Oh man. All right, I went back and got my truck, and of course I went and got the star of the show. Oh, I was missing my rain gear, and the rain started to come down pretty heavy, so I was like, I might as well go try to see if I can get my truck up here, and sure enough I can. The doe is right down over yonder, down over there. So I've got some work to do with her. Let's go down there and check her out. Well, here she is. Really big doe. Whoop! Almost lost it. It is muddy and slippery on this slope here. Oh, she is big, really big. I'm talking, oh, a lot bigger than I expected. There's a lot of blood right here. Oh, I think that's my, ooh, wow, that is a lot of blood. Well, that explains why there was no trail or anything like that. It's all trapped in between her chest and her skin here. There's just so much blood right there. Oh, just a beautiful big doe. Wow. Again, there's the cavity there, except now there's something in there. That is strange. I'm really looking forward to getting back and looking that up. Oh, well, my suspicion was right. I would say that I think the first shot was bad. I am so grateful for the meat. Oh, she's gonna get put to really good use, and I'm really glad that I was able to track her down. I honestly was really doubting it there for a bit. Yeah, it was a tough go. She did not bleed really at all. All of her blood got trapped in between her skin, it seems like, and it's just kind of boggling my mind. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that. That's happened now twice with both of these does. Maybe I should shoot a hotter load, meaning like more powder. I'm not sure. If you have any suggestions, I'd love to hear it. If you have any experience with muzzle loading, like maybe I need to switch sabots or powder, I'm not sure, because the lack of blood is concerning. I kind of, got lucky with this one. Like I mean, I used my best guess, but that's really all it was. Kind of just heading in the same direction and looking for cover kind of thing. But I really would like to have some blood, and the big thing as well is I think because I'm mostly like a bird hunter, I'm dealing with a shotgun, and I'm also dealing with animals that are on the move really quick, birds flying away kind of thing, or flying by, and I think I'm rushing the shot too much. So that's another thing that I really need to work on for the next time. That's something, a big takeaway from this doe for sure, that at the yardage that she was only at like 100 yards. I should have been able to drop her or get her really close to that area and not have to chase her all around like I did. So that's another takeaway from this as well. So I'm gonna get to work here. I don't have too far of a drag, thank God. That I'm really glad I could get my truck back in here, because it was a hike for sure back to the truck. So I'm glad this is a big doe too, so a lot bigger than the first one. So I got some work to do here. What are you doing laying in the dirt? Are you kidding me? What's going on? Why are you in the dirt? Oh my gosh. Oh, you goofball. Well, the truck is packed. Got both the deer in, all my junk, even Remy, myself. I can't believe it. I mean, I did it, so it is packed. I wouldn't say it's organized. It's more just kind of squished and mushed and pushed and, you know, all those ushes into the truck. The whole cab's just packed full right now. I'm just so exhausted right now. I haven't ate all day. I've been, you know, just getting camp broke down and then chasing after that doe and now taking care of her and packing up and all that stuff. So I am feeling a little bit like a space cadet right now. Like I'm kind of a little loopy. So I'm going to take a second, get some food, water, take a little break before I hit the road, just because I want to, you know, be alert and all that stuff. So the weather is acting really weird and it's making me nervous. It's can't really decide if it wants to rain, snow, sleet, be sunny, if it wants to be windy, calm. It's just kind of, you know, mixing and going, and it's kind of concerning. I'm glad that we're kind of towards the end of the pasture area, and that we don't have too many more treacherous things to do. I don't want to say it that I don't think there is any, but I can't really remember. I think we're kind of on the home stretch, maybe, possibly, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, it should be fairly straightforward getting out, but the whole getting back, it sounds like there's going to be a snowstorm across the whole southern part of the province. I'm not sure about the north, but I would hopefully like to avoid that. That'd be kind of nice, but we'll see. But the journey continues. All right, sleepyhead, are you ready? Yeah. Well, let's get out of here. Time to hit the bumpy trail. Bumpy bump, 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 bump. All right, back on the main road. Heck yeah, little Roo. Back to reality. I just want to go back. That was such an awesome trip. 7 days in some of the most beautiful country I've ever been in and seen some of the most amazing things. Oh, I'll be daydreaming about that trip for a while. But thanks for joining along, and as always, keep living high, wild, and free.